Well, hey there. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do my tango stitch. And the yarn I'm using here is I love this chunky yarn. And the color is Sunset. And it's a bulky yarn I got at Hobby Lobby. Quite a pretty yarn. Got lots of nice colors in it. Okay, so I'm going to put that here out of the way. And then the loom I'm using is a 3/4 inch 30 peg loom, and this one is from Cindywood Looms. And here is the stitch. So this is Tango Stitch, and I'm just going to get it so you can see it better here. There we go. Very interesting stitch. I'll pull it out a little bit so you can see the pattern more. So that's what it looks like. And then the other side looks pretty awesome. Look at this. This is the other side. So this is certainly a stitch that you can use either side, or do a project where you can reverse it and have the other pattern. And both sides have really nice texture. See the texture here? And then also on the good side here, although I think they're both good, you can see the texture of Tango Stitch. So there we go. So let's show you how to do it. Now this stitch doesn't curl, so I haven't done any kind of special treatment for anything. All I'm doing is I am just slipping the stitches and doing an E-wrap stitch on the edge. And the again, this is a stitch video, so I'm not showing you how to do a project in this video. I may do a project soon, and I may not, I'm not sure, but I want to make sure that you don't want to have to wait for me to do a project, because I'm going to give you enough tips so that you'd be able to do a piece if you wanted to. Okay? So I cast on with the chain stitch, and that's what that looks like, and that will be linked on my channel. You just go to the description, scroll down, and you'll see the link for the cast on and even the bind off that matches this cast on. Okay, so you'll be able to cast on or bind off and have it look like that if you'd like. And you can see how the slipped side looks like. I generally don't slip my sides because I don't like them. They're a bit looser than the edging that I like to use, but there's purl in this, and as soon as you have purl, your edges aren't going to be smooth unless you slip the stitch or do a garter edge. So that's why I did that here. Now it doesn't curl at all, so you don't have to worry about that. So you can do any kind of project you want. Now people are going to ask me, can I do it in the round? Okay, if you do it in the round, it's going to look pretty much the same. So you'll get pretty much the same look. And it's a pretty tight stitch, as you can see. You know, it could be looser if you did it with a really fine yarn. You would have more of a lacy look, but I have a bulky yarn on 3/4. If I was on a 5/8 inch loom, this would be very, very tight. So you could use it for a blanket or shawl, scarf, hat, cowl, whatever you'd like to, really. Okay, so let's get started and do the stitch. I've already slipped this side, so I'm going to start doing the first stitch in the pattern. Okay, and the first stitch, row 1, is my twisted owl stitch. So if you don't know how to do twisted owl, I'm going to show you. We go to peg 1, and on peg 1 we do a E-wrap, knit it off, then we come right back to peg 1 in front, and we're going to do a U-wrap. And you want to pull it so it looks about like this. Hold it, slightly pulling it so that you can knit it over easily. Okay? So E-wrap, knit it off, come back around, pull it till it looks like this so that you can just knit it off. Now if it's too tight, just loosen up, right? If it's too loose, you can just tighten it up just by pulling this. So you're in control of this stitch. Okay? It can be as loose or tight as you need to be. E-wrap. Come back into a U-wrap over it, pulling it like this, and then just knitting it over. You see, this is quite easy. The only way you're going to have a problem is if you do your E-wrap and then you come around too tight. You're not going to be able to knit this over, so you want to hold it so that it's about like this, so that you can knit it over easy. And you can get going quite fast. It's a fast stitch. See? Like that. Nice fast stitch. Okay, so E-wrap, and then you come back over and do a U-wrap. Now we're at the edge stitch, which we're going to E-wrap, knit off, and then come right back to do row 2. And I just got to untangle this yarn a little bit. It's got a little bit tangled up. There we go. Okay, row 2. Now row 2 is the purl stitch. Now most of you are going to know how to purl, and there's lots of videos on how to purl. Okay, but I'm just going to go over it here. You take your loom hook, put it inside the loop from up above, take the working yarn here at the bottom, go over it and scoop it up, and then you're going to take this off, holding onto this loop, and slip the loop over the top. Whoop. Slip it over the top and tighten it. Okay, working yarn down, take your loom hook, pull that loop, so you're inside this loop, pull up the working yarn into a loop, and then take that loop and put it on the peg. Okay, so down, scoop up on the peg, down, scoop up on the peg. Okay, down, scoop up on the peg. Now some people will do it in a way where they'll scoop it up and then they just kind of lift it off and put it on the peg. Not my way, as you see. I have trouble with that. But any way you purl is fine with me. I just purl it and pop it on like that. Okay, so loom hook down, up with the loop, and put it over the top and pull. Okay, tighten. Then we're just going to do the E-wrap, and we're going to slip it and come back. Now we're going to repeat. It's a 2-row stitch. Now we're going to do row 1 again. So remember how to do that? Just do the E-wrap and come back over into the U-wrap. E-wrap, come back into a U-wrap. E-wrap, come back into a U-wrap. And remember, you want it to look about like this, so it's easy to lift over. U-wrap, and do a U-wrap. E-wrap, come back and do a U-wrap. E-wrap, come back and do a U-wrap. And that's all there is to it. Very easy stitch. Doesn't curl. Don't need to do much of anything with it. I didn't do anything except E-wrap on the edge and a slip. And no curling. There's no curling on this. It's just a nice stitch. The sides look good. And the cast on looks good. And the cast off that I had the link to will match it easily. Okay, so here's another look at this, what the stitch looks like. It's quite a pretty stitch. It has a lot of, it's spongy and it has a lot of texture. And again, we'll look at this. This is the other side. Yeah, you can plan a project just with this side. Okay, so I don't think there's anything more I can tell you about this. You should have down how to do it. It would look really good with any kind of border. It would look excellent if you had it on a blanket, for the whole blanket, or even for part of the blanket if you wanted to show a different stitch and a different kind of texture. It will combine with any knit and purl stitches or any of my owl eye stitches or any stitches like that because it's already balanced. So it'll fit with any of my balanced stitches. So anyway, I hope you really enjoy this. I've been trying to figure out what project I want to make with it because I really would like to use this side as well. I want to make sure that you can see both sides. So anyway, until next time, bye.